San Diego, and we found out that we were going to Pearl Harbor. And so we waited there till we get the necessary ships to load us out and transfer us to Hawaii. We got into Hawaii December 1st.
Okay, let's stop. Had you been with the same group of guys the whole time since you joined?
Since we got out of that and were assigned to the Defense Battalion.
Okay. How did you feel when you heard you were going to be transferred to Pearl Harbor?
Well, we thought that was great. That was, not knowing where we were going, we thought that was great.
You wanted to be in Hawaii?
Oh, sure. It sounded great.
Did you know of any other possibilities they were considering transferring you to, or did you just find out and that was the first thing you knew?
That's the first we knew when we got there, that we were going to Hawaii.
Okay. Would you talk a little bit louder? Dad's saying a little louder. Okay.
Okay.
Alright. So, you got to Pearl Harbor December 1st. Okay. And what do you remember when you first came to Pearl Harbor? What do you remember in your mind? Where you were?
I thought it was beautiful because from the ship you look, and of course it's not like it is now where high-rise buildings and everything. I mean, now Honolulu, the town, is almost like Miami.
Tourists.
But anyway, but when you first pull it in there, all the islands are just so nice and lush and green. And they have the 5 islands there in Hawaii. All, well, they're out of sight of each other, but islands are all big tourist guys now. But anyway, we sat up and we set our guns up and everything. We were in no hurry. We didn't know how long we were going to be there, but we set up the guns and everything. And like I say, we got to December 1st. So Saturday was December 6th, I guess, because they said, all right, we're going to turn everybody loose since we've been aboard ship. And they gave us liberty to go aboard ship and didn't have to be back until Sunday night.
Okay, so you had been there a week.
We've been there a week.
Had you been on ship the whole time?
No, we were on the land in the new camp that they assigned to us.
Okay.
And
Saturday.
the camp was situated just about 5 miles out of Pearl Harbor.
Okay.
5 miles from, and they were back up on a big hill, and we could look from our camp, just look down like sitting on a 50-yard line at a football game, look down and see all these beautiful Navy ships in Pearl Harbor.
Okay.
It was just looking down, and all the 8 battle wagons that were there, they were all sitting there just side by side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 battle wagons just sitting there like you want to park a little car there. And all parked right in there, and then several other ships. But so the first Saturday night they gave us, or Saturday afternoon they turned us loose, and so 3 other fellows and myself, we said, well, we wanted to see Hawaii as much as we can. We went down town, we rented an automobile, and we took the car and drove around the scene. So I said, well, I have a friend on the Tennessee down here. I said, you fellas have ever been on a battle wagon? And of course, none of us or them had ever been on a battle wagon. And so I said, well, I have a friend. We'll go down there and see him, and maybe he can come back and show us around here. So we went down and went aboard the boats that had like little drop-off boats, like taxis that would run to the point of the Navy. And because there must have been 8 battle wagons and cruisers and supply ships, so there was probably 50 ships scattered throughout Pearl Harbor, different places in anchor. And so we went down and went requested and had to get on to West Virginia to cross over to get on to Tennessee. And we requested permission to go there, and we gave the name to the boats and the signal and the announcement for him to have visitors. And here's this fellow that I had seen since high school, which is a couple of years ago later. And so he was never so surprised to see me. And I said, geez, I love to know you fellow, but I had the duty tonight. But he said, I'll meet you in Honolulu at the YMCA, which is right down in the main part of town. And tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. And so, okay, fine. He said, well, wouldn't you guys like to go through the battle wagon again? And I said, oh, sure. So he took us all through the battle wagon, pointing out their big guns and turrets and their recreation rooms. And
what was his job on the Tennessee? What kind of?
He was a bosun mate, a Navy bosun mate, which is in charge of details that help run the ship and secure the ship and log to the ship, make sure they carry it out. And so he showed us all through. Of course, needless to say, the next morning, the attack came at 8 o'clock, and there was no living, but he was fortunate that Tennessee was on the inside of the West Virginia, and coast of West Virginia, that it was able to crawl out behind and get up. But it wasn't sunk, but it was had several bombs and things that dropped in. It was all on there. They couldn't miss. All they had to do is get hold of them and make sure it was in. Of course, we were up. They weren't bothering with, well, I'll get back to the first attack came at 8 o'clock.
Well, Saturday, what you left and went, where did you guys go on Saturday?
After we went down to Tennessee, we came back and we circled the island. There's a road all the way around the island.
Just go around and look
around. And then a coincidence as it was, we were on the other side of the island about a 7:45 in the morning. And we had just got radar into our anti-aircraft that we could fire by radar rather than visual sight computer. And the information went in the computer, but the radar gave us the azimuth and the information. So we saw these radar screens up on the hill just next to the road. So I said, see, look at this radar. We were just getting new radar. We hadn't received it yet, but we knew we were getting it for the guns. And so we were going to, they had sentry out in front. So we said, look fellas, we're in the Marine Corps, we're going to have radar. Can we just look, or can you show it to us? They said, oh no, this is all secret information, confidential. You're not even allowed to come here. You're not allowed to play it. That was the same radar that picked up airplanes coming in from the States that night. And we were there in the morning at that same radar station. But anyway, we drove around and we were coming down the road from Honolulu to our camp, which is it's a distance of 7 or 8 miles from Honolulu to our camp. And of course our camp was about another 4 or 5 miles from Pearl Harbor. And we got just about time we were pulling the camp. Here comes an old sidecar motorcycle, Harley Davidson motorcycle, with the MP saying, we're under attack, get back in these not pineapple fields, but cane fields. They had big cane fields along each side of the road. Said, get off the road, get off the road. Well, we wanted to get back to camp. He said, no. He said, you get back in, it's an order. So we got back in. So the first attack, we were here in a plane were coming right over our head because the road there where we pull off is just a couple of miles from Pearl Harbor.
So they were coming in towards...
And they, of course, they couldn't see us in the cane field, but we knew, at first we couldn't imagine that we were under attack. There's no way that
Why was that hard to imagine? Just didn't think Pearl would get attacked?
We never thought Pearl would be attacked. Nobody else did. I mean, it's just something else. But they didn't bother us because they were just coming right over and dropping their bombs just a mile in front of them. soon as the first attack was over, which is probably lasted about a half hour or so.
So you were in the fields, just
Back
watching
in
it happen?
Camp of the first attack, yes.
Okay, for the first whole half
So
hour.
we got back to camp, and our guns, we'd set them up the week before
When you first arrived?
when we first got there. So they were all set up on top of the hill there on Cabo. And when we went out there, and everybody was showing the gun. We didn't have any ammunition. The ammunition was on the other side of the island. The Army ammo dumps that took care of all the ammo that were winches and all that. Nobody was thinking that we were going to need any ammo there over the weekend. But anyway, we had no ammo. So what they did, all of us, because when we came aboard ship from Cuba, they put all our 03 rifles in ammo gun chest for security wise and so forth. And so they started passing all these rifles out. And they first started out because everybody back then, you know, your rifle was issued with a serial number. And here they would turn these things 28, 62, 17. I can remember that number so clear. It was my birthday date. But then finally some old gunnery sergeant comes and says, "You get those rifles and get ammunition." He said, "And quit worrying about your numbers. Just take any rifle you can get."
So you didn't fight with your rifle?
We did. We stood there and fired as they went over. It was just because you could just see them. I mean, there are these pictures of like Louis see him flying with it. Well, we could see them. That was that close. They were flying over the top because they hadn't reached their level, and just a mile or 2 miles out in front was the
close enough that you could
Pearl Harbor. So we were shooting, and nobody knows whether because their guns they weren't the armament on the plane, Japanese plane wasn't like ours, would hit the armament and it would flip up it. Anyway, I'm sure that we certainly were responsible for shooting some down, but that was the second attack. And
Could you see Pearl Harbor? Could you see it? You were watching the bombs from it?
Yeah, they were flying right over top of us.
But you could see the ships being hit from where you were?
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially the battle wagons that you could see. And of course, by then, the whole harbor was getting pretty black with fire, oil fires and things, and explosions with ammo dumps on the ships.
When you were shooting at the planes, I mean, do you remember feeling, were you scared or were you just not thinking?
Just did it automatic, never thought of being scared. Not because we knew that they weren't, there was a lot of shrapnel falling. And we had several of them injured from shrapnel, but that was from, the Navy was shooting their guns. And of course, it was just an umbrella where they were shooting, they had their guns for the first and second attack, and the shrapnel from those guns they were shooting were fine. But that was the nearest we came to any injury.